Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm back, and you're huge on my
Oh,
screen.
oh yes, yes I am.
I mean, look, I'm a bit of a size queen, but this is a little ridiculous. Let me just fix this here. Let's make this proper size. That's about it's pretty good, right? Maybe a little bit bigger. There we go, and then I can just move over a bit. There we go. Hi,
Hi,
how are you today?
I'm doing okay today. How about you? How are you?
I'm doing great. You know what? It's been a pretty good day. Can't lie.
Good, good.
So, this is the to anybody just tuning in. This is the segment. We're gonna have just a little chat. Some folks were involved in the creation of this. If my hand would, yeah. Um, and with me, if you don't know, if you don't know who this wonderful person is, this is Claire. Goes by Maid Gamer Claire on Twitch and pretty much everything else, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
except for Steam apparently.
Yeah, you're just a ghost,
Yes,
a whole ghost.
a whole AVA ghost.
Oh, 10, you beat me to it.
Wow, I didn't know 10 was a mod on your channel.
Yeah, for 10's been for a while. 10 kind of shows up every so often, so it works out. It's usually when something needs to happen to underestimate my power. I heard that as Anakin in my head, by the way. You're welcome, 10. Um, so, so basically, the main thing is, for this little thing, I love hide and seek stuff, guys. That's my thing. If I buy a DVD and it's got no special features, no thank you. I don't buy it. I pass it up. Um, and so since I thought, hey, this would be a perfect opportunity to talk about the person who actually made the model, because Claire made this model,
Yes, I did.
and everybody's been complimenting today about it.
Well,
It's
I
a good
mean,
thing.
it has a cute person behind it too, so that helps a lot.
Shucks, shucks. So just for I guess some of the people who are watching who maybe don't know about you, can you give us like a brief synopsis of who you are and go?
Sorry, I'm a little shy. Hi, I'm Maid Gamer Claire. You can just call me Claire. I am your older sister. I'm also an eldritch goddess from the dream worlds. And I am very comfy. I like to stream comfy things. So if you like comfiness, you can come stop by my stream and say hi, and I love to chat.
Doesn't matter if you're younger, doesn't matter if you're older, doesn't matter if you were the exact same age to the second. She's still the older sister.
Yes,
Always
exactly.
will be. It's funny. I realized as I was setting up stuff for the stream that my design was designed by a Maid VTuber. Oh, my model was made by a Maid VTuber.
You just
It's
got maids flocking to you.
pretty much. What is that? Wait, what does that say about me? Damn.
Kind of sounds like you need to hire a maid.
I mean, I really do. My life's disorganized. Um, but um, what was my train of thought? Here we go. Let me get back to my train of thought now. Um, so I wanted to ask specifically. I see you, Mew, in the chat. Um, you've done quite a few models actually of people who've been around here because Ten has been hanging out in here today. Um, and obviously there's other people that we know that you've done models for. What was different about this one? Like, what is anything changed in your process? Did you have to do anything special to make it work the way it is, or
I don't normally work with like feminine models without a chest. So, doing the shirt was very different for me because it's a very feminine shirt, obviously. But I'm used to like drawing boobs.
Ah, yes, very strong boobs. Well, I mean, but like most of the people I know that you do models for are guys. Ten, Jarvis, Okami.
Like my process for crafting females and crafting males is very different. So having something in between, not necessarily in between, but like
I know what you mean.
body wise,
Hmm. Yeah,
it, it's different.
it was a bit of a challenge, you'd say, or
Yeah, but like a fun one.
yeah. You seemed very enthusiastic when I asked you because um I'm not gonna lie, when I was going for someone to make the model, the Femboy Zero model, you were like my first choice, and I was so happy that you said yes.
Aw, yay.
Because I was like, I got my number one choice.
Yes.
Um yeah. I actually did not know who I was gonna do if you were like, no, sorry, I'm too busy or something like that. So I was like, I was like very happy that I didn't have to make that choice. So um and I just seeing the work you had done, I was just like, I really like your style of how you do it. So I like I want as like I want you to be the one to make it because I know it's gonna look amazing, and it does. This model's amazing.
I'm so
Love it.
glad you think so. See, that's really the only like thing I need out of like anything I do for people is just I want people to like it, you know?
I
I
love
want
the
I want to
style.
make people happy.
Um, I think my favorite part is that you gave the thighs the appropriate amount of squish. Cause they do touch, which is like I'm just like, oh, that's perfect. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
I that felt very important to me.
It is very important. Um, and I just like how it's just I like how it all turned out. Like it was exactly what I was expecting in my head. Well, not maybe exactly because I didn't think I ever knew 100% of what I wanted, but like as close to what the thought in my head is what it should look like is what it ended up being. And so I'm very happy with the model, and you did an amazing job.
Yeah, you gave me the reference, which was, amazing by the way. And then you had like a couple of extra things that you said you wanted to make sure to clarify. So I just
To
took all of
clarify.
that to heart. Yes, to clarify.
um so just getting into a couple of other things. I want One thing I wanted to ask was see if I could phrase this properly. what um what was the most difficult part, you'd say, about putting this together? Was it the chest?
It's yeah, probably. The thing is that when you're working on the 3D model, if you're doing like a somewhat detached or fallen sleeve or something, like it starts at a certain place, and I'm used to working on models that have like one or two body types, you know. So where it fell into place, that sleeve that's kind of hanging off, it was a lot different from where I would normally like try and draw it. So
It's
yeah, the shirt was probably the most difficult
I love
piece
how it
there. Yeah.
droop. I love how it droops just enough so that it's not quite at nipple yet, but if it drooped anymore,
Yes.
you'd be seeing his nipple. But it's kind of perfect for the his personality. And Ten, you make a good point. We were discussing earlier about models and how you've made models that tend to have a more anime or 2D look, but are 3D. Like for example, Okami's model. Like that's
Yeah.
the one that I'm like, I showed a friend that, and they were like blown away with how it looked. They're like that. They thought it was a 2D model at first. Um, when I showed the just some stream clip of Okami's or something, and then I'm like, that's, and then they realize, oh, that's not a 2D model. That's got too smooth of movements. It can move certain ways that 2D can't move. That's a 3D model. So.
Yeah, I love when people get confused. Like when I first started doing 3D models, it was back when Vroid was in like super beta.
Hmm.
2019, I
Oh
think,
wow.
like early. Um, and I was going off of like their sort of like sets or like what I thought a 3D model was supposed to look like. And then uh 2020 hit and I realized that I could start drawing things in my style on a 3D space. And that just like changed everything for me. I feel so much more confident about it. So like everything you see here is like how I would draw it in 2D as well.
I remember earlier saying that one of the advantages of Build Studio is that you can like a lot of the elements are 2D, and you can export them and modify them in art programs like Photoshop or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I actually, and
Raid me,
this
daddy.
John, thank you for the raid. Hello, welcome raiders. Hello. um, what I will say, what was I going to say? One thing I'll say is that for an idea I have for a uh for Halloween outfit, I'm just going to basically
Welcome to the Hunter
Photoshop
Base. Time for your checkup.
what I have, what's already on the model to make it look like different or ragged or whatever for the
Oh
Halloween
yeah.
costume. Dairy999, thanks for following. Um, so and I recently I talked to Yoko who did the facial stuff and also converted the model to had to convert the model to Blender and then back to VRM so that it would work in Ardo, which was a fun task for him. Talking about some modifications I can make for that Halloween costume. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see if I can figure it out. And I think I've got an idea of how I could do it. So because I've worked at V-Ray before, I just I'm not too good with like styling the hair and stuff like that. That's stuff that I'm still trying to figure out. I made the first model I made was off of one of the base models, and I basically wanted to make his hair look like my hair at the time, which I would slick it
Yeah.
back a lot. And even figuring out that I found very difficult, but I got it to work. It took me a bit. And but yeah, no, so technically the first model I ever had was one that was just basically very basic that I did myself. And then,
That's still really cool.
and then I got someone to make the cat girl model, and that's how I got to where I am now.
I
Um,
didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
it's there's clips of that old model. I actually used just another bit of background. I couldn't find my webcam at the time, and also part of me didn't want to use it because I was like, I like to stream in the dark because I used to stream at like 10 o'clock at night,
I understand that.
not 8 or 9 like I do now, or on the weekends 4. Well, except for this one. Um, and so I was like, I don't want to use my camera. So there's this program called V Magic Mirror, which you actually don't need a camera. It will lip sync, like kind of like how VR chat does.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and it's as like, oh, I can do this without a camera. So that's how I got started. Um, I think there are a lot of people who don't want to use a camera who just won't do it, but that program's good, and I always recommend it to people. Um, and speaking of VR chat, I also was able to import this model into VR chat, so I was able to use
Nice.
it in there for content. I don't know if did I show you that I imported
Um,
it? I can't remember.
one if it was the earlier version, yeah. If you did a later version, I haven't seen any.
No, I haven't done any since the first time I imported it, so maybe that was it. I think once it gets back into with how Unity works and everything with the facial tracking, it makes it harder to you have to like redo all the mouth things, and I'm like, I'm not about that, so I'm not gonna do that. Um, enough about the model. I want to talk a little bit more about what you do. Obviously, you're a streamer and a VTuber, um,
Yes.
and play based on what I've seen. Play game. You're into playing games like House Flipper, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Phasmophobia, Castlevania. If that which was your favorite series, if I remember right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
hmm And I mean, maybe in the future we'll there'll be a Castlevania game we'll do. Wink, 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 wink. Does that work?
Just tell me when.
Basically, it's we can plan it after this at any point. So we'll just pick a day that
Okay.
works for you. Um, 'Cause I need to play that game. I'm and also just other things you do because like you're not just a VTuber, you're also an artiste and a game developer as
Yes.
well. So you draw a lot of assets for the end games. A lot of them made for free, so people have assets to use to get them started making games. And then you have a games of your own that you've made. One that you've got coming out soon. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, it's been a little delayed, but it should be coming out this year still.
That's good. That's good. Do you have an ETA on a new date, or are you just deciding it'll be done when it's done?
It'll probably be done when it's done.
Mhm.
I tried putting a date on it, and a lot of things started to go wrong, so it feels like it's better if I don't have a date.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I've done that before. Shot myself in the foot with something. The only thing that I set a date for recently was my 15th anniversary game review, but it was like so far in the future that I was like, I set the date like 2 years in advance. So I was like, I'm going to hit this. There's no way I can't. So, but that was just for a YouTube video. So that's different than developing a game, which I'm getting more experience with because I know Sky's company is doing game jam that just started. And I'm just a tester, so I'm not involved in much of the development at this stage. I'm just basically observing what's going
Yeah.
on. Like I'm in their chat where they're talking about making assets and stuff. Um, but it's coming together, and it's I think it's like a month-long game jam or something like that.
Is it Spooktober?
It might be Spooktober.
That's exciting.
I think it is. Yeah, and you go by your game profile is Norineko Games, right? Did I say that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can find
Because
it.
it's
Go ahead.
because it's technically like a circle, so it includes more than me working behind the scenes on Noraneko games, but that's also my artist name. So yeah, I'm just kind of the head of that name.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Sky's with Rosin, which is her company. It's technically hers, but there's a lot of other people involved who
Yeah.
are a part of it technically as a group. So hey, Time Warp. Deadlines week end exactly. Oh, thank you for posting the card there, 10. I was just
Well,
about to
thank
say
you,
you can
Tim.
find your page on itch and stuff, but card works as well. Um,
With how social media has been these days, it's just easier to have a card.
yeah, exactly. Um, so I know that you've done a lot of visual novels. Is there a game type you want to do that you haven't yet?
Uh, I used to play a lot with RPG Maker, so there's a game that I actually want to make where it's like a survival simulator game. So kind
Oh,
of like
cool.
you go through and you build your house from things on like a desert island. And you scavenge for food and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Fight off the local wildlife. But yeah, I need to get like a little more into like being able to code things to figure it out.
I'll say I don't know how much experience you have with it, but I used to use RPG Maker all the time. I used RM2K and RM2K3 back in the day. Um, There's not a ton of programming involved with it. It's just the biggest thing is variables. Like
Yes, yes.
variables are kind of like once you figure out how they work, you can practically make anything in RPG Maker, but it's a big it was a big roadblock for me basically back then. But I was like in like middle school, high school when I was making this stuff. So and there were forums, but there wasn't a lot of people doing it. So I had to figure a lot of that stuff out myself. I don't know how good I'd be now, but I've been thinking about getting back into it, thinking something. Um, One thing I
That'd be
definitely
pretty
want to do
cool.
is I want to do that visual novel based on the horror movie that I wrote.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because I do want to do that. And my goal is once I get it written, then I can actually say it's a project because then I can have Sky do it, working on it with her group, and then also was planning to ask you to be the artist for it because I think that'd be a unique collaboration.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you know how to make some horrific images
I can
or
learn.
something like that. It wouldn't be anything like crazy, but there's a couple things that I wrote in the original movie script that I'm like, this would probably get an X rating if I made it a film. So yeah, but I wanted to write what I wanted, so I didn't care about studio system in that case. Um, but um, one thing that I think would be cool too is I I sort of half suggested this over in the Rosin server, but um, they have like so many games that they've done. They've just been like smaller games for like game jams mostly. Um, and I was like, there should be like a crossover fighting game of just the of just this universe of characters that you guys have at your disposal, and that's a cool concept that I'd
Oh
like to
yeah.
do at some point. It's a visual a fighting game based on visual novel characters. I just know it'd be a lot of work because you have to draw every animation if it's 2D, which I probably
Yeah.
want to do. Every single frame would have to be drawn. Um, but yeah, pipe dreams. We'll see what happens if one thing leads to another. You never know. There could be an investor or something down the line. One of those. Yeah, I know there is one that I've seen. I was specifically thinking of one with rosin characters, and maybe having other groups include their characters. Um, what's the one I was thinking of? Dengeki Boku Fighting Climax is one of them, but that's more. I
I
guess
was
those are
thinking
visual novels.
EFZ.
What was that? Sorry,
EFZ. Eternal
EFZ.
Fighter Zero.
That sounds familiar.
It's it's all the key games. Well, not all of them, but
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, Dengeki Boku Fighting Climax is stuff like certain scientific railgun, uh, certain magical index, Toradora, which I guess those are all anime, but I think they started out as like light novels or visual novels. So
yeah.
um, manga, like
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they do have some visual novels because they have Saya, right?
Oh, yeah. They do. I can talk hours about this stuff. Um, so is there any? What I wanted to ask you as well is, do you have any advice for anybody who wants to either do any of the things you do, whether it be art, being a VTuber, being a game developer, any of that stuff? Is there any advice that you have for people?
Like a lot of people get discouraged right off the bat because they're just like, I'm not an artist, or I don't know how to code things, or I don't know how to do anything related to this thing. And everyone starts from like nothing. Like we're not gifted with the ability to draw well from the very beginning. It's just time, and it's a journey, and the best thing you can do in a journey like that once you set off is to look fondly on the things that you have left behind. So I recommend if you're gonna be a creative, if you're gonna try to be a creative, then uh, once a year look back on things that you used to do and think about how you could do it better now instead of getting embarrassed by it.
There's that. You just reminded me. There's that that trend on Twitter. that people did where they show a version of their art from a few years ago and the same thing now, like they redraw it, sort of thing. And
Yeah,
I always like seeing those because it's it's interesting to see how much excuse me, how much someone has improved in just a short amount of time. Like
right.
a couple years is, you know, is not a lot of time these days. Like a couple years, it can go by in like an instant, I think sometimes. Um, but like seeing that someone's gone from doing it one way to even getting improving, even if it's only a little bit, but improving to the point where their craft is getting better and better. It's like it's very inspiring to see. Um, like the closest example I can give is back when I decided I wanted to start editing for other people instead of just editing my own videos. I know a lot of people wanted highlight reels, and I was like, I'm not good at that kind of editing. It's not. I'm just never been good at it. But I decided, well, let me just try and make something like this, and from one of my friends' stuff, one of their VODs, and I just found that, you know, I found ways that made it work, and now it's basically like what people hire me for when I
Yeah.
edit for them. That or shorts. Shorts are a huge thing, but I do it the old-fashioned way and do it all on the computer, where a lot of people are using apps to do it. So, but I like having that control. I've always like preferred that control than just giving it up to like an app to figure out how to do it. Um, and especially now, since a lot of those apps too unfortunately use like AI stuff, and I'm trying not to go near any of that. Um,
Yeah.
it's
I
good for
appreciate that.
it's fine for some things. I will say this, like it's fine for some things. Like if it's just like if someone's gray boxing or something, that's fine because we know that that's never going to be a final product. But if you're making it for like, even if you're making it like for stand-in stuff, it kind of goes in the line of like, well, you had to use that other people's like work technically to make that thing work. So I always feel an offense about it. Even in the industry that I work in, even though I'm not, um, you know, making and even though I'm not an engineer, they're starting to incorporate more machine learning stuff, and it's just like I don't know where this is going to go. I guess that's going to be a wait and see kind of thing. But with stuff like the arts, I don't really feel comfortable with it being used. If it again, if it's for like personal stuff that's never going to be released or sold or whatever, people want to play around. Whatever, I don't care because it's never going to be used for anything publicly. But once people start using it for like making music and making drawings and editing, there's now editing AI and stuff. I don't know how to feel about it fully. It's a weird thing, especially since like you've been victim of that before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody else. So um, I just have to wait and see. There's going to have to be some kind of a law or something about it
It
because
needs to be regulated.
there has to be some kind of regulation because if it's just like crypto, if it's left alone, like it's just gonna be a problem. But I don't want to end this on a sour note, so I want to I want to ask you just a couple more things.
Okay.
One of them I wanted to ask is I know because you've admitted to me that you oftentimes do lurk when I do a stream. What do you
Yes.
like about my what do you like about what I do? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong?
I think you have this certain amount, like, I'm gonna say this, I don't mean it in a bad way. You have this certain amount of sassiness towards, like, the games you play that is just absolutely hilarious.
I've developed a way because I did Let's Plays for years and years before. And for those of you who don't know what a Let's Play is, basically it's a recording of a game, and you're talking over it. And that's how I think I got good about learning to not shut up when I play games, like to just keep like saying if something happens. There's a saying I have in my Let's Plays where I'm like, "Sorry, I'm not talking a lot in this episode, guys," and then I look at the timeline and it's just I don't shut up. So I don't know why I said that. I guess I feel like I wasn't talking enough. But so I've gained a little bit of that sassiness from doing those games, like because things will happen spontaneously, and I'll be like, "What?" I'll be like, "That makes no sense. That shouldn't have happened. Why did that happen?" And then the game isn't going to give me an answer, but I expect it
Yeah.
to, and so I'm like, "Okay, all right, fine. If you're going to be that way, then we're going to do it this way." So I could probably
Yeah,
make a
and
compilation times it happens.
the facial expressions on your model and everything are just perfect too when that
Do
happens.
you, are you happy with what Nyoko did to the blend shapes for the model
Yes.
for the face? Because that was the thing. Like I could use the basic Vroid ones, but like I wouldn't really be taking advantage of what I've got here for a setup. And I figured you wouldn't really care because like you didn't rig the head, so
Yeah.
it didn't really matter. But actually, Nyoko did a new technique for doing the face. So some things are different, like the way I move certain things. I can still puff my cheeks.
It feels very alive, and I really like that.
Mm-hmm. The AR kit stuff is insane. Because originally Nyoko was just going to port the face from my old model into this one, like the blend shapes,
Yeah.
not the face itself. But then he's like, "Well, I can make it better, so I'm just going to do it better." And he did a fantastic job.
Oh,
But being able to
absolutely.
like move the mouth, like if I move my mouth to the left, model's mouth moves to the left. It's very subtle in this one, but I think it's because it was exaggerated in the old one.
Yeah.
But it's good enough that you can tell when I'm smiling, when I'm sad, angry. Well, sort of. I gotta turn the thing on for that. But that was the thing that I was like, it's like now that I've had this kind of facial tracking, I'm like, I can't go back. I can't go back to the old way of doing it because it it'll look too stiff to me. I think. I
Understandable.
I look at my old videos, like the highlight reels, like the specifically the Pokemon one I did. My model changed like 3 times throughout when I was playing streaming that game. So the highlight reel has like 3 different versions of my model that you can see. And like you can tell like when each clip like where in the game I was based on what the way the model was. So
Wow.
um
Nice.
so I think I switched over to AR kit during that, and before that like I was using just a upgraded one. Oh yeah, and I forgot you've this wasn't wouldn't have been the first time you worked on anything model wise for me. You also made an outfit for me
Yeah,
as
I
like a
did.
Christmas gift a couple of years ago, which I still use that outfit every winter
Yeah,
for that
I
model.
see you streaming it.
Hmm. It's awesome. It's like the perfect like mix of like winter, Christmas, and goth that
Yes.
I have for an outfit. Winter goth, I guess you could say. Um,
That was the aim.
yeah, I figured as much. I'm interested to see what new outfits you end up with for your own model. So you've got a couple, but
You're also gonna get a maid outfit, but that will be after, like,
I
a lot
know
of my events happen this year, so
you would not be the first to threaten to put me in a maid outfit. There have been several. There's another one in our chat, in the chat here, who's threatened it several times. So I'm sure that's good. That is going to happen. I actually have like a little story I want to write up for it, like a little like I actually might get Tab to draw a little comic for it when it happens. So
oh, that'd be amazing.
amazing.
Yes.
But yeah. Um I like that people will find the streams I do entertaining. Even I feel bad when I get really frustrated with something and I'm physically seem like it, but I always feel like somebody's gonna find that entertaining. So
I mean, just means we get to see all different sides of you, and I think that's wonderful.
you're wonderful. Shut up.
Your face.
Your face. Ah, and I get slimed. uh, well, I don't know what else to say other than thank you, Claire, for joining me here and for being here playing golf, and helping bring this to life. Like without this model, this never would have happened.
It's
And
been my pleasure, honestly.
I owe you. I still owe you, but you'll be getting stuff soon. I promise. Summer kind of
Take your time.
summer, just like as soon as my brother like arrived for 6 weeks, I was like, okay, I know that I'm gonna have no time for nothing because he's gonna want to hang out with me all the time, which I definitely do. I hadn't seen him in like 2 years, so did. And then life just hits me. So, but yeah, I think things are gonna. I'll be able to get back to things soon and have some content for you that you can use
Waku
on
waku.
YouTube or whatever. All right, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming by, and I'm very excited for more chances we get to hang out and do stuff. Maybe that one
Absolutely.
thing, wink, wink.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over and bring Mew in next. So, but you have a lovely rest of your day, night, whatever. Um, don't
You too.
don't say no promises to staying up too late. I'm in beforeing you.
I I
Um,
will I will stay up to my average time.
what, like 5 a.m.? All right, so
Maybe.
and 10, you better give back the murder tentacle. He's kind of been borrowing it all day. I don't know if you
Ah,
noticed.
no. You know, it's got
there's
a mind of its own.
there's a Gartic phone gif that has to be shared with you
Oh, yes,
later.
please.
It was great. All right, Claire, have a wonderful rest of your night, day, whatever,
You
and
too.
thank you so much for not only this but for being a great friend.
Aw.
You're the
Thank you for
best.
being my good friend.
If anybody tells you otherwise that you're not the best, I'll fight them.
Okay. I'll keep you to that.
All right. Have a good rest of your night. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. That's Claire. And just one more time, guys. You can find Claire if this will let me. I can't spell. Oh, I gotta wait 24 minutes before I can do a shout out. Shout out. But I can do this. Oh, that is not what I want. Guys, seriously. Yeah, go to Claire's card. Go follow Claire on Twitch. She's amazing and awesome, and I love her. And